All right, we are live. The first Friday, the first of the first Friday home buying workshops. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching this on replay, go ahead and watch it all the way through. I promise it's going to be painless and you will get some information out of the stream. All right, let me make sure first that I'm actually live. It's 1:05, so I'm 5 minutes late, and it's because at first when I went live, it was private. So I was on time, but y'all just don't know that I was on time. Okay, let me make sure I'm live. Let me see. Let's check on the back end to make sure I'm live. Or did I go live private again? No, it's public. Okay. I don't see myself though. I don't see where I'm actually live. Jesus. Jeez. All right, it's probably going to take a second. Let's just wait. I do believe it's going to work, but let's just wait a second to see if this is going to uh, pop up for you, girl. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm live. All right, I'm live. So today we're going to get right into the slides. It's going to be a little less than an hour long. At the end of this live stream, I will give you the opportunity to either come up. I'll put the link there. You can either come up and ask your question, or as I'm going through the presentation, through the workshop, you can always ask your questions in the chat. Okay. All right, let's get started. Hopefully, no, I know you can hear me. I just heard myself. Let's get started here. Hold on one second. One second. One second, y'all. One second. Because this is not the original live link that I had before. So I'm trying to share it out on other platforms as well. The nice thing about this, oh no, I can't see. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share. What am I sharing? Okay, sharing right here. There you go. Now, while I'm in presentation mode, I cannot see. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I can see the chat if I do this. One second. All right, so I can't see the chat if I can do this, but it's not on my screen where I'm actually looking. So if you ask a question, please don't mind me. I am presenting and I cannot see it right away. All right, so we are starting our first. How does it look? It looks so nice. Our first home buying workshop. This is the first time I've actually done this on, I'm not going to say a public platform, but like not with my clients. So I go through this with my clients all the time, but use have a StreamYard. I don't know what that is. Y'all can't see that all the time, but I have not done it like, like this in a setting like this. Okay. So a little bit about me. I have been in real estate for 5 years. I'm a licensed real estate professional in Maryland. I'm a Maryland girl, true and true. I grew up in Prince George's County. I also went to Howard University and earned my bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in African studies. I also was in the government as a federal employee for 10 years. And with all that combined, all my experience combined, I really truly do know that it helps me service my clients to the best of my abilities, and they're always happy. Whether I have to pull in my little, my education, my experience, all that stuff. You can read the whole, blurb if you like, or take a little screenshot. But that is the gist of it. All righty. So welcome to this month's workshop. Today we are going to walk through the entire home buying process from financial prep to closing the deal, to actually getting the keys to your house. So why does it even matter? Understanding the full journey empowers you to make confident, informed decisions. I do not like it when I've been handed a piece of paper and I just sign. I don't do my business that way, even though some people don't mind. They feel like they trust you, they want the house so bad they'll just sign anything. But I really do want my clients and people just in general, even if you're not my client, I want you to be informed and I want you to know exactly what happened in the process. I don't want you to be lost. I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, what did I just sign? I got the house, but I don't know what actually happened in the process. So, what you'll gain from this is actionable steps, insider tips, and a roadmap to becoming a successful homeowner. And of course, this is going to be our presentation. I can talk about, every single detail and make this a 3-hour kind of class, but look, we're not doing all of that, okay? But you will get a lot of information from this hour or so. The power of home ownership. The reason why I became a realtor is just because I love the value of home ownership. I know the value of firsthand, secondhand, thirdhand, building wealth and security and freedom, financial growth, stability and security. Of course, you do feel a little more stable when you own your home versus renting a home. And investment opportunity. No matter where you are in the home buying process, buying a house is an investment. You have to look at it that way, even if you don't want to, even if it's a very personal decision or your dream home, it is still an investment. And you want to make sure your investment is going to be protected and you can afford your investments because it's very important. It's where you live. Okay. All right. Next, choose your realtor. Y'all, this is my favorite slide. Hey, Sheila. Hey, girl. Don't forget, y'all, this is live. So as people are coming into the chat, I will be talking to the chat as well. But choose your realtor. If not me, then who? Okay. If not me, then who? I have 3 pictures of realtors that you can choose from. So pick one. Pick one. And if you're not in Maryland, I'm also in Agent Tools for Success, hosted and taught and mentored by the Kiana Watson of Atlanta, Georgia. And we have a whole network of ladies who are willing and able to service you and your real estate needs. Trust me, I can connect you with just about anybody anywhere. So a good realtor is going to connect you with trusted lenders and helps you understand your true budget. Not just what an online calculator says. Different lenders offer different programs, and you want to work with the one that will best meet your needs. So the way I work is if you contact me, whether you're pre-approved or not, I will give you information for my lenders. We'll talk about what your needs are, and then I will connect you with the lender that is going to best fit your need, or lenders that will best fit your needs. Okay. And of course, my information is always down below. Now, financial prep. So whether you're ready to reach out to a realtor or not, these are the things you definitely want to consider. Your affordability range. So no matter how much you're going to get pre-approved for, no matter what the lender tells you, you at least want to have in mind what you want to pay monthly. Because you can kind of get, especially when you're out there already home shopping, you can kind of get lost in like, oh, I really like this house. And, you want to push it to the limit. Like, the higher you go, the more you see the houses that you really, really want. But you got to stay in the range that's going to be the most affordable for you. All right. So saving for a down payment. Now, I have on here, you want to save between 3% and 20%. Generally, Maryland's closing costs are also 3 to 5%. So within that range, 3% to 20%, that's including your down payment and your closing costs. But you don't want to forget those closing costs. A lot of people say no down payment loans, and I say it too. No down payment loans. You don't have to put anything down, but the closing costs are not going to go anywhere unless you're doing new construction and they give some kind of incentives. They can either cover or lower it if they're giving the incentives, or you can always ask the seller to pay for it. So for example, just recently I helped someone buy a $400,000 house. She put down all together, down payment and closing costs, less than $2,000. So pretty much she put down her earnest money and didn't have to put much more down. And that is because she was a first-time home buyer. She was able to take advantage of certain Maryland programs. And then I was able to negotiate the seller's help for her. So that is why she was able to spend less than $2,000 to get her house. So that is a very real thing. Now that can absolutely happen, but it's a lot of variables that come into play when you're trying to qualify for down payment assistance. It's just not out there giving away freely just because you're a first-time home buyer. You do have to have the credit. You do have to have the correct debt to income ratios, and it just depends on the program, and it depends on what you're going to qualify for. And if you make too much, you might not qualify for anything at all. And then credit optimization. So you want to work on your credit, whether you're, a year out from purchasing your home, 6 months, 3 months. You want to continue to work on your credit. The better your credit is, the more programs you're qualified for, and the lower your interest rate could possibly be. So you definitely want to make sure you just pay your bills. Pay your bills on time. At least don't let them go past 30 days. Make sure you try to pay your bills on time. Things happen all the time where maybe you can't pay your bills, but pay whatever you can pay, because 30 days late is 30 days late. So if you have to forego paying something that's $300 a month, and you can only pay the $100 a month, just pay what you can and pay it on time, because 30 days late, a hit on your credit is a hit on your credit. Okay. So the first step after we've talked and I get you over to the lender, and the first step is to get pre-approved. Now, a pre-approval is when a lender reviews your income, credit, and finances to determine how much you can borrow before you start house hunting. Why is it important? It shows sellers that you're a serious buyer. It helps you set a realistic home budget, speeds up the closing process, and just also, I'm going back one bullet. It helps you set a realistic home budget. So I've talked to people a few times now that think, okay, I make $200,000. I can afford X amount. I shouldn't have any problems getting pre-approved. I hope somebody let me know if I'm leaning too far back from this mic, if y'all can still hear me. But just because you make really good money, if you have a lot of debt, if you have car loans, student loans, personal loans, you got co-signing for different people, if you have too much debt, it's going to directly affect how much you can get pre-approved for. So don't just assume because you make a lot of money that you're going to get qualified for whatever. Your debt to income ratio is a real thing, and it directly affects how much you can get qualified for. All right. The lender will also check to see, like I've already kind of said, what down payment assistance programs you can qualify for, local, state, or federal. Or you can also mix and match. That'll probably be another topic for another workshop as we go along. The lender is going to match you with the best loan option, FHA, conventional, USDA, VA, USDA also, and VA. Those are also no down payment loans. Different credit unions also offer no down payment loans as well. That'll be another workshop topic for another day. Okay. All righty. And then after you're pre-approved, the fun really begins. You fill out a little paperwork and all that. The next step is house hunting. Before we go house hunting, you have to sign a buyer's representation agreement. This is now the law. As of August 2024, you have to sign a buyer's representation agreement with your realtor before they're able to show you any homes. Now, if they're not following the law out there, that's on them. You might find a realtor that might show you homes without an agreement. And the thing about it is the agreement is easily terminated. If you want it to be terminated, it's not like one of those contracts. It's not a 360 deal where you got to sign your life away kind of thing. It's not that serious. Sign the representation agreement so you know that we are in a committed working relationship. So the seller is aware that you are working with a realtor, and that's that. Normally I don't have an issue. Whoa, I'm getting too excited. Normally I don't have an issue with my folks signing. They just go ahead and sign. They will move on. And I was kind of doing that. I was doing it anyway. Sometimes I was a little lenient because I would give myself a chance to kind of meet you first to see if we're a good fit, and then you sign. But now it's the law, so you can follow the rules. You've got to follow the rules. All right. So next, you want to define your non-negotiables. Together, we'll narrow down your wants and needs and ideal locations. So what school districts you want to be in, what kind of house you want, if you want 3 levels, if you want a ranch, if you want a ranch with a basement, if you want to be commutable, if you want to live in an area that qualifies for a USDA loan, where exactly do you want to live, and what type of house you want, bedrooms, bathrooms, all that good stuff. All right. Also, touring homes. So I do offer virtual or online touring options because I do have people that are moving in from out of state, and it was a little more popular during COVID when things were like going so fast that if you're out of state, you really almost didn't have a chance to come in and get your dream home. Like, say if it's something that you really, really like, but you're out of town, then a virtual option was just the only option at that point. But I still do them from time to time for people who are either really busy or people who are coming from other states, not other countries yet. I haven't experienced that yet, but coming from other states. And I do detailed virtual tours. But all in all, most of the showings are in person. We're walking through the house together and all that kind of stuff. So after touring homes, we're going to be writing offers on homes, and we want to make sure that we are staying competitive. So right now, the market, like I already said, it's not as busy as it was. Like, it's not as fast moving. The average days on market at one point during COVID got to like 7 to 10 days, and that's average. That's super low days on market. Right now, we're at about, depends on what county you're in, but I'll just say 30 days on market right now, or just 30 to 35 days on market, which is softening a little bit. So buyers have a little more leeway. They have a little more negotiating power. But then at that point, the homes are selling so fast, the interest rates were so low. I mean, it was just crazy. However, I will say that even right now, we are still in multiple offer situations. Homes are still going under contract in 4 days, 7 days. They are still going under contract pretty quickly. But to have a house on the market for 20 days, 30 days is not uncommon. So if you're selling your house, that's not unreasonable. But you can only gauge anyway. I don't want to get too off topic. Throughout the home search, we'll make sure that we are in touch regularly, whether homes are coming on the market that meet your specifications or not, and to make sure that we move quickly when the right homes appears. If you ask anybody that has worked with me, okay, quick, quick. All right, making an offer. Once we find the home you love, what I do is I go back to my computer and I look up comps in the area to make sure that our offer is going to be strong, to make sure it's not going to be overpriced, underpriced, and that it will be a competitive offer. However, sometimes I've had clients that you can only make your offer as strong as you can make it. So sometimes my client might need 2% closing help, 3% closing help. Of course, that's going to net the seller less money, but if you need the help, you need the help. So that's the strongest offer. You can put the strongest offer that you can in, okay? Once the offer is sent, the seller can accept, reject, or negotiate. I'll handle all the communication and keep you updated every step of the way. Okay. Now, once you made the offer, you got that call from me to say your offer was accepted. We're under contract. Woo! Okay. So the first two things you're gonna need to know is, or need to do, the first two action items is to send in your earnest money deposit and to do your inspections. And if you're wondering why I'm looking to the side, I'm looking to my slides. So I'm trying to, go back and forth here. But you'll submit the earnest money to show your serious intent. Is usually 1%, but 1% to 3% of the home price is what you'll be submitting for earnest money. The timeline for earnest money is going to be on the contract, okay, and as well as the inspections. On the inspection addendum, it's going to tell you how long you have to get that inspection done. And most of the time, both of these two things are between normally like 3 to 5 days. And earnest money is normally about 3 days. If you tell me, hey, I need a few little extra days, normally 5 days. If it's anything past 5 days, it looks a little sketchy as far as earnest money deposit. Isn't going to get your offer declined. No, I don't think so. But typically is a little bit maybe of a red flag. Okay. As soon as your offer is accepted, inspections are scheduled. Home inspections help uncover hidden issues and protect your investment. So I would never suggest that you do not get an inspection. Even if you were buying a house as is, I would still get an inspection because stuff is going to come up and you don't want to buy the house and be like, dang, I wish I would have gotten an inspection. Now my roof's falling apart. And do I want to be involved with you purchasing a house and your roof falls in on the first year when it could definitely have been avoided, or your HVAC goes down, or something, like a high ticket item? Now, not saying that that couldn't happen with an inspection. Now, inspections are not foolproof, but the inspectors that I like to use, they are very, very good. They get up on the roof. They don't use a drone. They're up on the roof, and things like that. But anyway, definitely want to get an inspection. Okay. After the inspection, we may negotiate the price, closing dates, or repairs. I'll handle that communication and get you the best possible terms. So, say pretty much the inspection window, once you see what's actually going on with the house, and also depending on what the market is, you will ask for, things to be repaired. Sometimes, one time, let me just sidebar here. One time I had a client that had, I mean, I forgot how many items were on that inspection. It was so many items on the inspection, and I'm just looking like, I guess we're gonna walk away from this one because this is just too much. And from the way the sellers were speaking, I didn't think that they were gonna want to fix anything. So I presented. Well, I didn't present it. They got the inspection notice. We went through the whole thing. They really, really wanted the house. They did not want to back away. So I said, if you want whatever you want them to fix, put it on the paper. I'll do another blank addendum, put everything on there. They asked for so many things to be fixed. There were certain things that I wanted to make sure were on there as well because I knew they were, like major items. So they added their stuff. I added my stuff. It was so much stuff, and I'm thinking like, there's no way that they're going to say yes, we'll fix it. I gave them the PAR is what it's called, short for. I gave it to them, and they said we'll fix everything. I said, what? Everything? So I was surprised, but they literally did fix everything. They gave receipts for everything except for one item, but they literally fixed everything. We had the inspector go out and do the inspection all over again. And yeah, it was great. But anyway, staying on track once you're under contract, it'll be my job to make sure we stay on track. I'll guide you through the deadlines to keep your contract valid. We'll review inspection results. I already said that, but you definitely want to make sure that me or whoever your realtor is staying on top of. I mean, that's just what a good realtor does anyway. But staying on top of the deadline. So, like, say for instance, when you get your HOA package in, there's certain timelines that you have to respond to things by, and you want to make sure you just want to make sure that you're in a position to, if you need to get your earnest money deposit back, you can get it back. And you don't want to be towards the end and be like, oh, well, this isn't, what I thought it was going to be or whatever. Just make sure you're on top of it. All right, do's and don'ts. Once you're under contract, you want to keep your job. You do not want to quit your job, okay? Keep your job. Avoid large unexplained deposits, and definitely do not quit your job, okay? Do protect your credit score. Continue paying your bills on time. So pay your bills on time. Do not sorry. Why won't it let me click here? Anyway, do not sign for any loans. Don't open any new lines of credit. Don't sign for your cousin's car as a co-signer. I was going to say co-owner. As a co-signer. Look, I don't even know what that is. You won't catch me doing that. And then don't make big purchases. No new cars, no new furniture. As I said, nothing. Don't buy anything. Don't even put anything on Afterpay, Klarna. Don't put anything on any of those, like, pay later type of things. All of that is going to affect your credit, and it could knock you out of either being pre-approved or being able to get approved for the house. And you do not want that. Now, it could just be a fact where you have to explain it, but just if you can avoid it, just don't do it. Sometimes things happen. I know one time, one of my clients was in an accident and had to get a new car, and she was fine. It didn't affect it, but make sure if you definitely have to say something, just don't go behind my back and do it, or the lender's back and do it. Just be upfront, like, hey, this is what's going on. Is this going to affect me? I'm giving you a heads up. Don't get to where we're underwriting at the point of underwriting, and you're like, oh, you got a new car? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Don't deposit or transfer large sums without explaining it to your lender. So that's pretty much the same as the do side. Do keep your job and avoid large deposits, and don't deposit or transfer large sums because you will have to explain it. Okay. All right. Next up is the appraisal process. The home appraisal process is an unbiased estimate of the home's market value, ordered by your lender to ensure the price you're paying is fair. It protects you from overpaying. It's required by your lender for the approval of your loan. It helps determine your final loan amount. And the appraisal takes, I mean, I've seen appraisals come in. I mean, you would think that they went to the car. One time I thought he forgot something at the car. He was so fast at walking through the house. I mean, it was a smaller house too, but it was 2 levels. It was a small house. But I'm like, is he gone? I saw him walk outside, go up the stairs, go around the yard. He was gone. So I'm telling you, appraisals take about 10 minutes, depending on the size of the house, the upgrades, and all that kind of stuff, right? The possible outcomes of the appraisal results. Appraisals meets or exceeds the offer price. You just move forward. So, say you offered 400,000, the appraisal comes back at 400,000, or say 450, 460, it can come back at 500. You move forward and continue towards closing. That's great for you. You're buying a house with equity already in it. If the appraisal comes in low, there will be some negotiating. You'll negotiate with the seller. You can pay the difference or you can dispute the value. So say you offer it for 100, the appraisal comes in at 380. You can either pay that $20,000 difference, the seller can come down, but the loan officer, the lender is not going to give you more than the house is appraised for. That is not going to happen. Most often, it's normally not. I haven't experienced a $20,000 appraisal gap, but more than likely the seller will kind of adjust, because if it happened to you, it will more than likely happen again, unless you decide that you want to dispute the results that came from that appraisal. All right, and then you're in underwriting. Underwriting. Underwriting is a final approval process where your lender carefully reviews your financial information and decide if you can really get this loan. If you're officially approved, okay? So they're going to recheck. This part is going to seem most likely a little bit redundant, but they're going to check your income, employment history, credit score, your report, your bank statement, savings, debt to income ratio, everything. This is where they may say, oh, 2 years ago, what happened that you had this go into collections? It's showing that it's still open. You need to show that it was paid off, that kind of stuff. It gets really down to the nitty gritty. You may be asked to submit additional documents. The underwriter may ask questions about large deposits, job changes, income. This is normal. Do not panic. Okay. So it happens to everybody. Sometimes it gets a little bumpy in underwriting, but it's nothing that you can handle. It's nothing that you can't show documentation for. Sometimes it does get a little frustrating, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Trust me. Okay. Your role is to respond quickly and accurately, avoid making financial changes. Once again, no big purchases, no job changes, or no new accounts. Stay in close contact with your lender and your realtor. Now, as far as job changes, I do want to touch on that as well. You want to make sure that if you're taking a new job as a promotion, that's one thing. But taking a job where you're changing fields and you're making less income is a huge deal. Okay. It can hugely impact what you can afford and what the lender is actually going to approve you for, if anything, if that's the case. You definitely want to stay in your field. Pretty much just keep in contact with your lender and your realtor the whole time. Anything that's going to make any difference in your income or your credit, make sure you keep them aware, okay? Because things happen. Things happen. All right, so clear to close. Once you get your clear to close, it means that your lender has completed your underwriting and approved all documents. Your loan is ready to go. Okay, that is when it's time to celebrate. Sometimes real estate is tricky, but then I feel like you can actually celebrate once you get this clear to close from your lender. Okay, the final numbers are confirmed and your closing disclosure is dispersed. We'll do a final walkthrough. We'll go to closing table. You'll get your documents and you will receive your keys. Okay. You should still, after you get this clear to close, if I haven't said it already, don't do anything to your credit, to your income, or anything. Don't switch your jobs. Don't quit your job. Wait until you get those keys. And even then, wait till 5 days if you're trying to quit your job. Quit your job then. Don't do it after, or don't do it before you got those keys and you're in the house. Okay. Don't quit your job in general. But anyway, review your closing disclosures carefully. Ask any questions before signing day. You'll need to bring a valid photo ID, certified funds, maybe a blank check if you need to, and then plan for about 1 to 2 hours to sign paperwork. If you're selling your house, it's a little quicker. It's about an hour of paperwork that you have to sign. For a buyer, it's typically between 1 to 2 hours. Okay. All right, and that is the end of my first Friday home buying workshop. And there are few people in the chat. I'll just say few people in the chat. If you have any questions, you can use the chat to post your questions. You can also use the link that I provide. If you're in the chat and you want to come up and ask a question, let me know. I'll put the link there. If not, I will not worry about it. Let me go back. We have reached the Q&A portion. I think I can go to stop sharing, but I can also go to stop this screen. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all the chatting. Thank you, Sheila. And I will see you guys in the next video. Once again, we're going to do this every Friday. So hopefully once people, see what's going on, once they start picking up what I'm putting down, they'll be here on the first Friday as well to join us. It'll be even more interactive. I don't know if I'm going to have slides every single time, but yeah, I don't know why. I don't know if I just said every Friday. Not every Friday. First Fridays. So if I look at my calendar, oh my gosh, I've only been live for 32 minutes. I want this to be an hour-long kind of thing. Anyway, if I look at my calendar, I will be live again and maybe live in between time. So I may go live, on another day. It won't be on a Friday because I don't want people to get confused. But the next time I'll be live, the first Friday. Wow, I cannot believe June is next month. Will be June 6th, and it'll be in the evening. It will not be during the day. The only reason why I did it during the day is because I'm going to a prom send-off this evening, and then I have some other obligations. So I didn't want to not do it on the first Friday that I wanted to do it, because then I'll have to wait a whole nother month to have my first Friday workshop, and I did not want to do that. So this time is early in the day. Next time it's going to be about 6 or 7 o'clock. If you have a preference, let me know, and yeah, we'll do it that way. And in the meantime, I upload every Thursday. I will see you on First Fridays, and maybe I'll go live in between time. Like I said, just make sure you're subscribed, you like this video, turn the notification bell on, and turn the bell on all. So whenever I post anything, you will get notified. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. This was pretty painless. And I hope you got some information. Like I said, as the months go on, we'll get more and more feedback. I will tailor these workshops specifically for people that I know that are active and asking questions and engaging and all that good stuff. And eventually, like I said, we'll have people come up and talk, and we can talk about real estate all together. I think it's going to be wonderful. I think it's going to be beautiful. And I really don't want to end this stream because I wanted it to be an hour long. I feel like that was just too fast. It was just a little too fast, but that's okay. I don't want to ramble at all anymore. And I don't think I can ramble for another 26 minutes. But I will see you guys. Thank you so much. Let's get a little thumbnail action here. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. In the stream.